Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be doing another top 5, and we are going to be doing Mickie James' top 5 matches of her career. Mickie, for me, is one of the greatest female wrestlers in history. An absolute legend. Mickie James is a former 5-time WWE Women's Champion, a 1-time WWE Divas Champion, and a 5-time TNA Knockouts Champion. For definite, for me, she would be in contention for the women's Mount Rushmore of wrestling. She has had a stellar career. But what are her top 5 matches of that career? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing today. So I'm going to break it down as always. I'll start at number 5. I'll run down to number 1 and tell you what I think is the greatest Mickie James match in the history of her career. So as always, you can play along. Let me know in the comment section what your top 5 Mickie James matches are, and let me know if there's any that you think that maybe shouldn't be in or that should be in, or if the order that I've picked them in is wrong. Let me know. Always fun to have a little feedback with fans and get into a little discussion of why things are in certain places. So let's get into it, and we'll go straight in with number 5. It's Mickie James versus Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22 for the WWE Women's Championship. Now with this one, I feel like if you're a WWE fan and you hear the name Mickie James, then you immediately think of this match against Trish at WrestleMania 22. At the start, there is an immediate exchange of strikes between the two. Trish gets the upper hand and kicks James to the floor outside of the ring. Trish then follows her, goes for the kick, but Mickie ducks and Trish connects with the ring post, which then gives Mickie something to target and work on, and the fans really start to get behind Mickie. At this point, they really get behind her with the "Let's Go Mickie" chants, and then start booing Trish as well, which was a good twist, a good turn that maybe some people weren't expecting. But the fans really got behind Mickie in this match, which was great to see. At one point in the match, Trish mounts a comeback, hitting Mickie with a sit-down powerbomb, all the while still selling the leg injury. She done really well to sell, obviously, the previous leg injury, literally throughout the match. At the end of the match, Trish goes for a Stratusfaction. It's because I'm too excited. But Mickie grabs Trish's crotch area, shall we say, stunning Trish. The crowd loves it as Mickie licks her hand before turning into a punch from Trish. But Mickie then nails Trish with a knee to the face. There's a bit of a botched bulldog in the corner, maybe like a Stratusfaction, before Mickie then hits the Mick kick for the win and to become WWE Women's Champion for the very first time. So I remember watching this. I think this is one of the WrestleManias that I actually watched live, because a lot of them back in the day, with obviously being in the UK, they don't start till 1 a.m. And WrestleMania 22, what are we on now? WrestleMania 40. So trying to work out the years, I should have wrote it down, to be honest. I normally do. What we're looking at, so 20 was in 2004, I know that. So this was 2006. So I was still in secondary school at the time when this was on, so I think this is one of the rare occasions that I actually got to stay up and watch WrestleMania live. And me and my mates, we were all massive Trish Stratus fans, as anyone at that time was. But I don't know, there was always something about Mickie, like the storyline, the build-up, the rivalry is still talked about today as one of the best women's rivalries in WWE history, between Trish and Mickie. And the storyline that built it up was really good. And then, again, like the fans in the arena, like when the match started and the way it started to go, straight away you just started pulling for Mickie. You couldn't help but pull for Mickie James. You wanted it to be the next star, the next champion, and she come out of this looking really good. And all credit to both women in this match. It was a really good match. 22 wasn't a great WrestleMania, but I really enjoyed this, and that's why it goes in at number 5. So we'll look at number 4, and it's Mickie James versus Asuka NXT Takeover Toronto for the NXT Women's Championship. So this is a belt that she never actually held in her career. WWE have been booking Asuka really strong during her NXT run. She hadn't lost a match, and obviously along the way had picked up the NXT Women's Championship. She then went on a dominant run as champ, defeating literally everyone in NXT. Obviously, at one point, so many of the women's wrestlers that were deemed stars went up to the main roster to Raw or SmackDown. So everyone that was obviously left behind, like Liv Morgan and such, were then defeated by Asuka along the way. And so then up steps Mickie James, who hadn't been in a WWE ring for 6 years. This was a return match, and to me it was easily the best match of her WWE run. I think this was phenomenal. I remember, I don't think, yeah, because NXT's recorded, isn't it? So NXT's taped. So I think I actually seen the match drop online before I'd actually watched that week's episode of NXT. Like I say, obviously with the time zones and everything, with being in the UK, it can be hard. And then obviously in work the next day, like you do it now. Like obviously I'm a big AEW fan, but AEW's on a Wednesday. I work on the Thursday. It doesn't start at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not going to be able to watch it. I haven't got time to watch it in the morning when I'm getting myself and the kids ready for school and work. So by the time I see it, it's Thursday afternoon. So sometimes if you forget, you go online and see it. But I remember it dropping the picture of the two of them together on Twitter or Facebook, and straight away I sent to my missus, and I was like, this is going to be phenomenal. I love Mickie James and Asuka. This was peak Asuka. Like, I don't think main roster Asuka has touched on what NXT Asuka was. You know, she was superb in NXT, and it's the only time they've booked her the way she should have been booked. So towards the end of this match, Mickie builds up some confidence and manages to land a big strike. Mickie remains very calm and collected throughout the match, and even when Asuka gets her in an armbar, Mickie manages to get to the ropes pretty quickly. Asuka is fired up and gets hit with a mick kick, and Asuka just manages to get a foot on the bottom rope before the 3. After pulling Asuka to the centre of the ring, Mickie then goes for the Mick DT, but Asuka counters into the Asuka lock. A struggle then ensues with Mickie trying to flip Asuka over for the pin, but Asuka manages to lock in tight and get the victory via tap out. So what this match did, it put eyes back on Mickie in WWE. You know, this was clearly like this. Her return to the company back in, I think it was 2016, was it? Again, normally I write the dates. I don't know why I haven't. I think it was around 2016 because I'm pretty sure she left in 2010. And you know, the only thing slightly annoyed me during this match, and it's nothing that either woman did, it was like a half-assed chance of "you still got it" from the crowd to Mickie, and it was just like, do you realise she's been wrestling these 6 years? She's not been CM Punk and sat at home on her ass on a couch. Like, you know, she's been grafting, she's been putting the work in, she's been winning championships. Like, it's either they just do it because that's what they're programmed to do. You still got it to someone they haven't seen in a while, or they're literally that close-minded that they don't know what Mickie James has actually been up to in the time she's been away from WWE, which I think is ridiculous. Just, again, nothing to do with what either women have done. You know, Mickie come in and did a job. You know, she gave Asuka probably her best challenge of her championship reign in NXT before then going up to the main roster and being absolutely underutilised, which was really, really frustrating. I'm so glad she left again when she did. So that is number 4, NXT TakeOver Toronto. So number 3, it's Mickie James versus Mia Yim at Bound for Glory. Now, this was during Mickey's last rodeo run, where she announced that the next time she was pinned in the ring would be the last time, as she would retire. She also set her sights on the knockout title one more time. This run for me is the absolute best run of Mickie's career. She just went out to the ring against TNA's best female wrestlers and put on banger match after banger match after banger match. Like, I dipped in and out of TNA for a good while, or Impact, or whatever you want to call it. Like, years and years and years ago, I watched TNA and WWE at the same time. And then for a while, WWE became unwatchable, and I just solely watched TNA for a long period of time. It was a good few years. Like, the peak TNA of Christine Cage, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Chris Sabin, all the big names. And then TNA became a little less watchable. So I dipped out of it for a while, and then I come back when Matt Hardy was the TNA World Champ, and I've seen Drew Galloway as World Champ, and EC3 and the likes of them. And then again, so I've been on and off of TNA for a few years, but a couple of years back I started getting into it again. Mainly just because it's one of those companies that, yet they're not challenging against WWE, but they're one of them companies that's always been around, similar to a Ring of Honor. They're just not going to go away, they're not going to die, and they are going to do exactly what they do any given moment, you know what I mean? Like, so I started getting back into it, and I think it was probably around the time that Mickie went back. She's a big reason I started watching it again, and then when she started doing this run a couple of years ago, like, I couldn't wait to watch TNA every week, because it wasn't just pay-per-views that she was doing it was literally like she had a run. WWE did it similar with Ric Flair, where Vince said, next time you get pinned in the ring, will be when you retire, which obviously led to the match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. But Ric Flair was how old? And the matches weren't great, and he was beating big names that he shouldn't have been beating. But Mickie, for me, absolutely could still go. Like, I wasn't even thinking of Mickie retiring as a thing. So then when she came in with this, I was thinking, maybe she has had enough, maybe she doesn't want to do it anymore. And then started watching it, and I was like, oh my god, it's literally an excuse to put on the best run of her life, the best matches of her life, and I was absolutely 100% for it. Obviously, then going after the title as well. Like, I wanted to tune in. I was buying pay-per-views based on the fact that Mickie James on them, and she was main eventing a lot of these pay-per-views as well. So yeah, I forget where I'm up to now. Yim and James were evenly matched early on until James injured their knee during a bulldog, which gave something for Yim to go after and work on. This added more into the storyline, gave something for Yim to go. Oh, I've just read that. More into the storyline as Yim gained control of the match and essentially Mickie's career. At the end of the match, it seemed to be all over as Maya locked in a stretch muffler on Mickie's injured knee. But she managed to get to the ropes. I remember it just being like edgy of seat stuff. It was like, oh my god, not only could she be pinned and it being her last, but imagine being told or deciding like it was her thing, wasn't it? It wasn't the same as Ric Flair's, but imagine deciding like the next time I get beat, that's it. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, if I lose, then I'm just not good enough to do it anymore. And getting to the point where you could just go, I give up. I mean, that's the ultimate submission. That's the ultimate give up, isn't it? Tapping away your career. I remember being sitting on the edge of my seat going, oh my god, imagine if that's the way she goes out. She just gives up on her career. But the resilient as ever, Mickie James manages the rope break, and then catches Mia with a Mick kick, followed up with a Mick DT for the victory, and to continue on with her career and continue on to put on absolute stellar banging matches. Like I've said for a while, I think they took a little bit of a hit lately, but I said for a while, there's a good 2-3 year period where TNA had the best women's division. Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Mickie James, Giselle Shaw, these names, these women, Naomi as well when she was there. I mean, look the way she's being treated now by WWE, it's shocking. They've had absolute big names there. Roxy was there for a while, wasn't she? and they just had great names, great matches, and you know what? Great storylines. You know, AEW can put on some great matches, but they don't really have the storylines for people really to care about the women's division. I think they get away with that a bit more in the men's. I feel like they don't have many storylines in the men's division, but yet people are still happy to tune in and watch Danielson versus Will Ospreay just because they want to see who's better. I think less so if it's, I don't know, say Britt Baker and Tony Storm, but they have been improving lately. You know, especially with like Tony and Deonna, there's been a general storyline there. WWE, on the other hand, goes far too much into the storylines and gives you about 2-3 minutes worth of matches in the ring. Like, I've put obviously Trish versus Mickie in this because I do think it was a great match. It was great for the time. And I feel like the storyline was worthy as well. And I do feel a lot of people, when you say Mickie James, especially if the WWE fans, will think of that match. That match was about 9 minutes in total. 9 minutes. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So, and that's at WrestleMania. So, I feel like TNA have had a great, strong women's roster. They've had good storylines and they've had good in ring action and they've been given the right amount of time. And they've main evented pay per views where it hasn't felt like they're just doing it for the sake of doing it because it's not been done before, like what WWE do, where they have someone to main event just so they can say they've done it. Whereas these matches meant more than the other matches on the card. At one point, the Knockouts title, like say, when this was going on, this storyline, the Knockouts Championship was, for me, a lot more interesting and a lot more, it seemed a lot more important than the world title. So anyway, I keep going off on a little tangent, but I love it so much. And so that was number 3. So in at number 2, now me 1 and 2, I did go back and forth on. I did struggle a little bit where to put them 1 and 2. So if you cross them over in yours, I don't mind. Like literally, if 2 is 1 and 1 is 2, I don't mind. But if these 2 aren't your top 2, then we've got issues. But they are free. You can watch them actually on Impact's YouTube channel. They've put the pay-per-views up. They put loads of pay-per-views up, to be fair. It's incredible. And they've put some of the matches up separately as well. So that's what I did. I watched the matches back to back. Sat on it for about an hour, if I'm honest. And then I went with this. And then even still now, I'm like, but nah. I'm fully committed to it. I feel like either one of these could have been 1 and either one of these could have been 2. But I'm sticking with it. It's written down. So number 2 is Mickie James versus Jordynne Grace. Hard to Kill. Title versus career match. 2023. Right, okay, so I've wrote down 2023, but I didn't write down the years for the others. Okay. This obviously was the finale of the last rodeo storyline with Mickie James. This was her getting the title shot she so desperately wanted. She was that desperate. She had to put a career on the line. It all boiled down to this: win and become Knockouts champion once again, or lose and have to retire. It all goes away. It couldn't been more on the line if you tried. And you know what? There was a lot of people that were turning around going, "Oh, well, Mickie wins then, doesn't she?" Well, not necessarily, because we didn't know whether Mickie wanted to continue. You know, we didn't know. There was no update on her contract. Her contract could have already been expired. Could have been close to expiring, so she could have been going elsewhere. We didn't know for 100%. And I feel like the way they told the story and then the way the match actually went, it become less and less like predictable, if you like, for Marks. But I really, really enjoyed the story. It's my absolute favourite TNA women's storyline of the last rodeo. And probably in all wrestling, I know it sounds mad to say, but probably is in all women's wrestling. I can't think of another one. Like now, when I think of Mickie James, I think of this storyline, and I think what a great storyline and a great payoff, and like you say, fantastic matches. I don't feel like there's another women's wrestling storyline that I can think of right now off the top of my head that's had me more invested than this. So, where are we? Jordan had the strength advantage over Mickie and put it to show in this match from the beginning. At the end of this one, the emotions ran high as we got a number of very, very near falls for both women, including a 2 count after Grace hit a deadlift suplex followed by the jackhammer. After Grace hit a spinning back fist, she went for the Grace driver, but Mickie countered and hit a Mick kick, a Mick DT for the 2 count. She hit both her signature moves, both her finishes, and only got a 2 count. Now that's where it started to get you on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh yeah, Mick kick, Mick DT, both her moves, and then Jordan Grace kicks out, and you go, oh crap. What else can she do apart from the same moves again? How is she going to be able to put it away? That's when I think, like, sometimes false finishes, yeah, people don't like them as much. You know, I love a false finish if it's done right. Like, this was done right. Sitting there and I was like, yes, sitting back all ready to celebrate. Yes, Mickie's champion again. Like, I love Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace is phenomenal. I think Jordan Grace is going to have an absolutely amazing career. But at this moment, I wanted Mickie not to retire, so I wanted Mickie to win this match. And she hits the Mick kick, and then she follows up with the Mick DT. And then Jordan kicks out, and it's like, oh my crap, what the hell are they doing here? So like I say, fans were on the edge of the seats, and like I say, it was a main event match because this felt so important, and TNA really booked it very, very well. I'm not sure who booked the storyline of the last rodeo. I don't know whether it was from the mind of Scott D'Amore. Absolutely fantastic. He's been for TNA before they shafted him, or whether this was Mickie's idea herself, I'm not sure, but whoever booked this, you know, thank you for booking it, 'cause it was superb, and to everyone who took part in the storyline as well. So Grace then drives Mickie headfirst into the turnbuckle from a fireman's carry, but James manages to grab hold of the ropes, pulls herself off, and Grace charges at her. Mickie gets out the way with the juggernaut crashing into the ring post. Mickie then hits a tornado DDT for the victory and to become Knockouts champion one last time, and keeps her career intact. Absolutely phenomenal. Loved everything about it. Again, the opponents in all these have been great. Mickie's been great. The storylines have all been great. You know, it's just a really good. I really enjoyed going back and watching these and being able to sit there and rank them. And to be honest with you, I could have done a top 10, but I just didn't want the video to go for about an hour because I feel like when I do top 5s, I get more views. So if you guys would rather top 10s, let me know in the comments. I'll quite gladly go and do 10 to 6 right now. So we'll run down anyway from 5 down to 2. Give you a little refresh before I give you the greatest match of Mickie James's career. So in at number 5, it was her match against Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22 for the WWE Women's Championship. In at number 4 was her match against Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Toronto. In at number 3 was Mickie James versus Mia Yim at Bound for Glory, with Mickie's career being on the line. In at number 2, it was title versus career, as it was Mickie James versus Jordan Grace at Hard to Kill in 2023, and that's why I wrote it down, because I've just remembered. So in at number 1 is Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo, Texas Death Match, Hard to Kill 2022 for the Knockouts title. So that is why, because my number 2 and number 1 are both Hard to Kill pay-per-views. In fact, they're both Hard to Kill pay-per-view matches. They both are for the title, and they both main evented the shows. So she main evented back-to-back Hard to Kill pay-per-views, which is phenomenal. So this match I've watched to be fair, I've watched it about 2 or 3 times over the last couple of days. I really, really enjoy it. This and the Jordan Grace one mainly because I was trying to pick 1 and 2, but I've gone for this one at number 1 and I'm sticking with it. So, Deanna, you are Mickie's greatest opponent, technically. Not that she's going to watch it, but there you go. This match was simply brilliant. Hardcore Country versus the Virtuosa. One of the best to ever do it versus one of the standout stars of the new generation, if you like. This was a no holds barred, no falls count anywhere brutal match that included countless number of weapons from both women, with chairs, tables, and thumbtacks all used. With a Texas Death Match, obviously you need to score a pinfall or submission over your opponent, and only then can the referee count to 10. So early on, Mickie scores a pinfall. I mean, it's pretty much straight away in the match, but obviously Deanna gets straight off. And then not long after that, Mickie James actually taps out, but again, gets straight up. I mean, to be fair, I think the reason, like, Mickie obviously catches Deanna off guard and manages to score an early pinfall. And then I think Deanna then locks in the submission to try and put as much pain on Mickie early doors. But Mickie does the clever thing and taps out because, although, yes, she's tapped out and it is about 3-4 minutes into the match, it just means that she's not going to have any more pressure on her body. She's not going to end up having a bone broke or an injured arm for the rest of the match. So it made sense to tap out and try and get her off, while you can't get out of it. Which obviously Perazzo tries to leave the submission on, and the ref has none of it. At the finish of this one, Deanna hits the Queen's Gambit on Mickie through a table. Mickie gets up at the count of 9. In this match as well, Mickie gets busted open. See a bit of colour in this one. They then start fighting over the chair, with Deanna ending up falling into the thumbtacks. This is where I can't say. I feel terrible. Can't say his surname. Matt. Is it Roundhurst? Wrote it. Do you know what? Again, I write down bullet points. I don't write everything word for word. I write down bullet points. Oh God, he was Aiden English in WE and he was something else in New Japan, and then he's Matt. His real name. TNA. I really apologise, Matt. Oh, I can't think of his name. Do you know what? I watch his podcast as well. I should really know his name, but obviously just call him Matt, innit? It's where he comes down and manages to get Deanna up onto her feet at 9 and then goes after Mickie and takes a brutal guitar shot to the head. Deanna goes at Mickie then with a chair, but gets nailed with a Mick kick and a Mick DT for the pinfall. As Deanna then goes, as she's lying and she's trying to get herself up, Mickie then throws a chair at her while she's on the ground, grabs the broken table, piles it over her, and makes sure that the ref continues the 10 counts and retains the title. Mickie wins and retains the belt at Hard to Kill 2022. So there you have it. That is my list of top 5 Mickie James matches of her career. Like I say, she's a phenomenal talent. She's been great throughout wrestling, especially in TNA. I can't state enough how I feel that her run in TNA was 10 times better than it ever was in WWE. But without WWE and without her being in WWE, a lot of us wouldn't know who she was originally. So, she got that chance in WWE, which, you can't discredit what she did in WWE as well. Like I say, 5-time WWE Women's Champion, 1-time Divas Champion. It's just myself, personally, I preferred the way TNA booked her, but absolute phenomenal talent, great wrestler. I'd love to be able to meet her at one point. It'd be fantastic to get a chance to meet her. I've met some of the greats. I've met Trish Stratus and met Lita, you know, two of the all-time great women's wrestlers, and I feel like Mickie should always be in that conversation. So it'd be great to one day maybe meet her and get a photo on the wall with the others. And I'm definitely going to look out and see if I can get a signed photo as well. I feel like I need to start getting my Mickie merch on. Start adding it to the wall. But there you have it. Yeah, that is my top 5 Mickie James matches of her career. So as always, don't forget, give me a like, comment, let me know your top 5 Mickie James matches of all time. And like I say, a lot of these are free to watch on YouTube, so go and check them out if you haven't seen them, and let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is a lot of viewers that aren't yet subscribed, so please do subscribe. The more subscribers I get, the better quality the videos, the more videos I put out, and hopefully the more people I get on as well as guests. So please do subscribe and let a friend or a family member know if they don't know about the pod yet and they are wrestling fans. Let them know. Pass the pod. So there you have it. That is the Mickie James top 5 list. So as always, stay tuned for more wrestling related content. Come your way very, very soon.